You don't want that.
Morning, Karen.
Morning, Bob.
President accounted for as far as commissioners, okay. And Michelle Stevenson's here. We're ready to go. Item number 1, MERS defined contribution addendum. Noel Martin's sitting in for, well, I take that back. Jody's back. Jody's back to take care of a presentation on the MERS defined contribution addendum.
So obvious, this is something we did before for the defined benefit and the hybrid that we have through MERS. Essentially, MERS has been undertaking an audit, and to comply with certain federal and state resolutions, basically we need to complete the adoption agreement and have it approved by the Board of Commissioners. All this does is outline the provisions of the leaves of absences and types of employees that we currently allow to participate in each of the 3 different plans. This is not an opportunity to change anything. This is just solidifying in a separate document the practice that we already have in place. Like I said, we did do this before for both the defined benefit and the hybrid. I just forgot to add the defined contribution plan that the non-union employees and the POAM 911 participate in. So.
Okay, anybody have any questions in regards to Jody's MERS defined contribution addendum? We've been working on this for a while, so this should just about take care of it, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, any commissioner have anything? Okay, hearing or seeing nothing, or seeing anybody waving. Number 2, solid waste management plan discussion. Tim Muckenthaler.
Yeah, this has been in the works for a while. At least two and a half years that I've been here. We finally got it together. We got a plan set up. We had to get 67% of the townships in the county to agree with us on this. And we got 11 of the 12. Well, we got 11 or 10 townships in the village of Roscommon. So we met that portion of it. And I don't know if Vicki is on.
Tim, I'm on if you have any questions.
Oh, do you want to carry on if we have anything else, or do you have anything more you want to add at this time?
Nope, you summarized it great. And at this point in time, you already voted on it. So the municipalities basically backed your resolution, agreed with you, and it's a matter of signing a letterhead to Eagle saying, here's our package, here's our documentation, and I can help Jody put that together. But it's a matter of the chairman to sign it then, and we can send it on. Odds are it'll take them 3 months is my guess, with them working remotely. They'll get back with you, I think, to let us know if we have everything in order. Then they're just going to review it to make sure it meets the regulation, the statute. So it's not that it'll be done as soon as you mail it in. They still got to go through it and review it. So it's going to be a couple months out would be my best guess.
Thank you.
Okay. We do have that on for motion today, Vicki. So for the chairman to sign that, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks.
Right,
but I'm here to answer any questions if you have them.
All right. Any commissioners have any questions regards to the solid waste management plan discussion? Okay, hearing or seeing none. Item number 3, book the film project. Our clerk, Michelle Stevenson, please.
Thank you. So what you have in front of you is a proposal. For those of you that have been around the entire time I've been here, I've had a couple of other projects that I've done where I've been trying to put images that we've had on film onto make them digital and available for the public to search. And ideally, we need to have 40 years available for our searchers, title searchers, to come in and search when they're doing title work. And what my goal has been, and I've said this before, is to try to get everything online and digital and available. And as we all see last year, that was very, very important to have that information available to the public so they could search that from the comfort of their home rather than needing to come into our building. So what you have here is a project where I would contract with US Imaging. They would come in because all that I have left to put on now are the actual physical books themselves. So what needs to happen is I need to either have somebody come in and scan the books in-house or pack up my books and ship them out. And I'm not comfortable with the books shipping to some location and, you know, who knows? I'm just not comfortable with that. So this proposal includes US Imaging coming here to my office, scanning the remaining books, which, as you can see, is 247 of them. So it'll take them a few days to do that. They have all of the equipment, and then they will go through and index all of the information. They'll clean up the images, make sure that we have good images, the ones where we have that are reverse negative, so it's black background with white lettering. They'll change that so that it would have the white background with the black lettering, clean up the speckles, everything, make sure that we have really good images. And they will do the indexing on the previous 2 projects, which one of them we're still working on. Carrie and Amy do the indexing on that as they have time. I've had it done in-house here, and it's just simply not possible at this point if we want to be able to get these on and have them available. So the total cost for the project would be $81,763.16. And as you'd see on the last page of the proposal, that's done in stages. So I pay by stage as they complete them. This money would come out of the automation fund, which is a designated fund for technology in the Register of Deeds office. So I do have that money available. I have other projects that are going on as well. Thankfully, the real estate market is booming, so money is being added monthly to this account that will make it available. So, and I have talked this over with Jody, and I've presented her my plan and where funding would come from, and et cetera. So I'm just looking for your approval because this wasn't something I anticipated being able to do this year, but I would like to try to get it done. So I'm coming to you because this wasn't something that I did put in my budget.
Okay. All right. So you're looking for us to complete this project. This has been ongoing also. So we need to put this on for motion for the next meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, please, because when they actually sent us this proposal, we had followed up to see how soon we could get on their calendar, and I was anticipating it was going to be a few months down the road, but they could get us next month. And I was like, whoa, I gotta present and I gotta get the motion. So we'll see. But yes, so whatever motion at the next meeting would be great, so we can get moving forward on this.
Okay, all right. Commissioner, have anything for Michelle?
Sounds like a great idea.
So, okay. Mark's got a thumbs up. Okay, anybody else?
Michelle, I think it's
Ken's
in that office.
Okay. All right,
you.
put that down for motion for next meeting on the 28th. Lake Sanitary Sewer Project, Garish Line Townships, City Supervisor who is here. I don't represent Lane Township.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. I want to thank the commissioners for putting me on your agenda this morning. I'm pleased to inform the commissioners that Lyon and Garish Township boards are moving forward by resolution this month to create the Garish Lyon Utility Authority and adopting articles of incorporation. I sent a copy of the Garish Township resolution that was approved at our meeting last night for the commissioners to review. Lyon Township will be approving their resolution at their board meeting later this month. Needless to say, this is a significant step towards a sanitary sewer that will protect Higgins Lake for future generations to enjoy. Recently, much of my efforts have been involved in communication with Congressman John Molinar and Congressman Jack Bergman's office through their senior legislative aides. The Congressman's office have provided me with applications for a community project funding request for fiscal year 2022 for a sanitary sewer project. Congressman Bergman's office indicated they might tag team with this request with Congressman Molinar. One item that may help is for the Roscommon County Commissioners to pass a resolution supporting our project. I would submit your resolution to our packet of information that the congressmen already have if the resolution is adopted and passed. In closing, we would not be at this stage without the hard work of both township boards, especially the Lyon Township Clerk Doug Schnell and Lyon Township Trustee Eric Carlson, and Garish Township Treasurer Lisa Togetsky and Clerk Kathleen Patchen. When the COVID restrictions changed to allow for in-person meetings, I would like to bring our project engineers to give a presentation to the commissioners if you wish.
So I have a question, David. You're asking for a resolution to support your formation of a sewer authority, or are you also asking for a resolution supporting your particular project details?
Yeah, just a resolution in support of a sanitary sewer project.
Okay, in this COVID situation, how well do you think this has been going out to the public? Because I've been getting feedback from people that just don't know the details and we're a little bit surprised. Is it true that you're just going to have the people maintain their septic tanks, or new construction would have to put in a septic tank, and then the proposed plan is just to hook up and take the liquids away from the septic tank?
That's a long and detailed question that involves a long and detailed answer. In short, the new technology in sewer systems is called a step system. What a step system does, it uses a tank that collects solids and then has a second chamber in the tank for the effluent, which is what pollutes the lake, to be pumped out into the sewer to be processed. Based on the number of residents in a house or the usage of the tank, the utility authority then would come to the home and pump the solids out on a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year basis, depending upon how often the tank is being used. That's the latest technology in sewers. When we began the project, we were somewhat guided to that system by the engineers with the U.S. Department of Agriculture here in Michigan. And of course, when, sometime this summer, hopefully the COVID restrictions will ease and allow us to hold public hearings. Our intent, and in fact, our mandate is to hold, I believe, 2 or 3 public hearings. We don't know whether they will happen, live, should the COVID restrictions ease, or they would be of the Zoom nature. But the feasibility study, which details the process that we're going to be using, has been on our township website for over 2 years, both Garish and Lyon, and residents have always been free to access that feasibility study, to view it, and if necessary, ask questions. Many residents have. I've talked to several residents over the last couple of years that had questions about that, and after I referenced their going to the website to take a look at the feasibility study, some came back with additional questions, others did not. And of course, public communication being what it is today is very, very difficult. We will be doing the best that we can this summer, should the COVID restrictions ease up, to do public hearings, or if we have to, we will do Zoom hearings.
So the actions that your board took and that Lyon Township is going to do later is just to approve the authority. You haven't made a decision on which engineering plan to go with until after you have these public hearings?
No, the plan is set. The plan is already set. The process is set.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a couple of questions, please?
Go ahead.
Mr. Supervisor, this is probably, I just have a couple of questions. The closer you are to the water, the more you will benefit from this environmental impact. With the proposed assessment for this project, will it take in consideration the contribution of the proximity to the lake? In other words, will there be a cost differential if you live on the water? Hence the back ladder. And obviously, for where I sit, the person who uses the water would have the same cost, whether you live a mile away as far as the usage. But is there a cost differential for the person who lives on the water versus the person who lives behind or not on the water?
The detail of your question, I don't have an answer to at this time.
And I don't expect you to. I just wanted to ask that question. Maybe we can get back later, because I think that's a question that will probably pop up in the
Yeah. We're still working out those details with our municipal advisors, Baker Tilly, and our legal team that we're working with. They're pretty well defined, but I don't have enough information to make a definite statement myself right now. I would rather.
And I appreciate it. I would be remiss if I didn't ask that question now, at least for reporting consideration. Thank you.
That's why it's important to bring in the engineering team in to meet with the commissioners when it's available for you to ask these types of questions. I'm a facilitator. I'm not a sanitary engineer.
I understand. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Okay. Dave, reiterate again what you're looking for the commissioners to do for you.
Just a resolution in support of the project for the health, welfare, and benefit of the future of Higgins Lake.
Okay, and that would be for Garish Township and Lyon Township?
Yes, for the project, yes.
Okay, so we just that letter of support would be for both townships, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Any other commissioners have any questions for Mr. Udi? We'll take that under consideration at this point. I think we need to, this is our first presentation, so I think we probably are going to need some more information to go on it first, okay?
You bet.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got, any other commissioners got anything for Mr. Udi?
Well,
right.
Bob, yeah. I don't know if David can answer this or not, or if this needs to go to the engineers that are driving this particular plan that they've selected. Well, was there cost considerations, or was this just a straight up, this is the state-of-the-art technology, or are other municipalities or lake associations going with this just taking the effluent off, or are other communities still doing a complete sewer system where everything is removed from the residents?
I know that recently there are other sewer systems that are the same as we are putting in. The same. Again, I wish the engineers were here that they could go over the details that drove the decision making for this type of sewer system, rather than go with other types. It was cost. It was especially the operation cost, the cost of operating the treatment plant.
What is the difference in cost annual maintenance between the hybrid system or the full system?
I don't know the answer to that yet, Ken. Or use a city type sewer where you would transmit everything rather than effluent. It's the effluent. We always have to remember it's the effluent that's caused to take care of the solid waste in a different manner. That is the cheapest, most cost-effective way of operating a system like this. In the future, engineers pick something out. It was a collaboration.
Okay, anything else? Sure, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Keep us posted on your end also, all right?
You bet.
Okay. Item number 5, Equalization 2021 report. Jamie Hauserman.
Good morning, sir. I'm just trying to get my screen share set up. I wasn't able to access it a minute ago. Now it's working. Roscommon County Equalization Report. It was prepared for you by myself, Allison Thompson, your Assistant Director, and staff. Hereby certifies that the assessment rolls of the townships and village have been examined, and we find these rolls to be relative in Roscommon County for the year 2021. This in compliance with section 209.5 and MCL 211.34, and in accordance with the assessment rule of equalization certifications. I will go through pages 3 through 5 as shown on your screen. Are the actual report that is required by the state of Michigan Department of Treasury. It is report number L4024, and it's called a Statement of Acreages and Valuations. This statement of acreages and valuations was made in accordance with sections 209.1 through 209.8 of Michigan compiled laws. We hereby certify that the foregoing is a true statement of the number of acres of land, the value of the real property and of the personal property in an aggregate valuation of real and personal. The equalized month of April 2021. This is all done pursuant to provisions in sections 209.1 through 209.8 of Michigan compiled law. We further certify that the said statement does not embrace the property taxed under Public Act 77 of 1951 Public Act 68 of 1963, Public Act 198 of 1974, Public Act 225 of 1978, Public Act 385 of 1984, Public Act 224 of 1985, Public Act 147 of 1992, or Section 5 of Article are the valuations that the assessors and the Board of Review have provided. All units are equalized at 50% of true cash value of all the properties in each of the classes within our county. Of interesting note, you will see as we go through the report, $7 billion. This is an increase of 5.46% at a rate faster than our rate of inflation, which for 2020 was 1.4%. For county equalization and an estimate of our true cash value. Page 11 for this year. You can look at our classes of residential property. It accounts for the vast majority of property within our county, over 90%. It in itself, the residential class, is growing at a rate of 5.81%, which is just down from last year, 5.95%. With that inflation rate of 1.4, that means our residential property is growing at a far faster pace than we had expected. Look at Denton Township, which is our second largest township by state equalized value across our county. You'll see that they had the strongest residential sales, which led to a 5.42% increase. Roscommon Township at a 6.1% increase, and Richfield, who is another large SEV in our county, at a staggering 9.45%. What came in at? You'll note that these numbers are the same as they have been for many years in the past. That's due to the fact that we've got excellent township partners. The township boards have employed excellent people in their assessing offices, and as they have for their Board of Review members, specific parcel number and what we thought versus what they thought. And we come to some level of understanding amongst us. From there, those value of those accordingly. What we've found is by doing that initial prior to March Board of Review audit process, it eliminates the need for us to do that process later in the year, just before equalization in the month of April. This page in 2016 was when I was happy to announce to you that it had been the first time our taxable value had increased since 2008, 2009. And if you recall, it had increased just 1/3 of a penny. In 2017, we saw that is a true indicator of that upward trend in the market activity that is exceeding state inflation rates. So our state inflation rate this year was the 1.4%. I track that every year. It's a 2-year floating average by the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Right now, this is last year's taxable value compared to this year's taxable value. This is the page of the report that our local partners often look to when they are looking for budgeting data and things to make decisions on from a local budgeting perspective. You'll see a significant increase in Asabo Township's taxable value this year. They had some industrial property that got moved. So that's kind of a fluke in their very low value. So I wouldn't look at that percent as an aha moment. I would, however, look at folks like Lyon Township. These are the charts that show the trends. People often look at these and then they have a lot of questions and ask things about it. You can see in history how valuations tend to go up in a strong economy and then fall when we hit that recession periods. I believe that we are approaching that another hill like that. So you can see that upward trend. And as it continues to climb, we're still not quite at that high, but we're getting there very quickly. This chart is, it is the chart that shows the taxable value, or the assessed value change from 1975 through 2021, 45. This is the last chart in the report. And again, it shows you those hills and valleys where you see the climbs in the real estate market and then you see the drops. We had this huge climb in that early 80s. You know, up until about 2008, 2009, when we really saw that recession take a huge beating on our valuations. That came down pretty substantially, and it has been growing since about 2000. Shortly, Administrator Controller and your county clerk and I had a conversation about this yesterday, in which I anticipate approximately 3 more good years, 2 to 3 more good years before we might see a decline. Some notes of interest. Our state equalized value peaked in 2008 for the first time in Roscommon County's history. Every year we seem to close that gap, and we're continuing to close it again this year. Our taxable value, which is what revenue is based off of, our taxable value peaked in 2009. Last year, we moved it to an all-time high again. So that means in 2020, we increased to our general fund is not what you would have assumed it may have been based on the numbers that I'm providing. I've already done that work. In years past, I've told you that that work is about a month out. Working from home in the pandemic and having less meetings and training classes, et cetera, has allowed me and my staff to work at a little quicker pace. And so we were able to get those numbers out for you for today. So that's the first time in my nearly 10-year history as your equalization director that we've been able to accomplish that. So that means that I know right now, and I can tell you for sure, that our millage rates are rolling back. They are going to roll back countywide, and they're going to roll back in 9 of our 11 townships. They're also rolling back for our central taxable value increase to our general fund budget is just about $150,000, just slightly more than it was last year when I reported this to you, but not significantly more. So $150,000, as you know, on your significantly large budget is not a lot of money. Thinking about next year, as I indicated, right now we're sitting with 7 months out left in the consumer price index inflation rate group category. It's the 2-year rolling average. Right now we're trending a 1.5% increase for 2022. If that trend continues at the same rate it is right now, I believe we'll see nearly a 2% increase. Again, nothing that is going to allow you to have any significant changes in your budget, but at least it is something more than going in the reverse, which we've done in the past. With that, I would take any questions for you on the equalization report.
Okay. Can you, everybody done with the screen? Can you take us back?
I am. Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to say it's a very nice report. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. I have a second item for you today if there are no other questions for the equalization report. Again, this is, go ahead.
Okay, my question is that the downturn that we had back in 2008, I think we took a negative effect of about 25%, but it's taken us, we've finally almost gotten ourselves back to that original 2008 figure.
Correct. For state equalized value, we're just 8% less than that original number at our peak. For taxable value, we've now exceeded it. So that's a positive in many ways, because as you know, taxable value is that basis for your revenue source that you use to do those very needed county projects for our taxpayers.
Mm-hmm. Right, and just for the general fund, we're the original millage authorization was for 4.60. Last year, we authorized a 3.5804, and then for this next year, we'll be looking at a 3.5496, correct?
Yes, sir. I'll talk about that also in the 4029 tax rate request next. Yes, okay. Absolutely. That is definitely being rolled back.
All right. Okay. Any other commissioners have anything for Jamie? Nice report, Jamie.
Thank you. Okay, so my next report for you, again, unprecedented. We've never had to do this before. We've never had the ability to do this before. Like I said, with the pandemic and my staff working mostly remotely, and the lowered quantity of training classes and meetings, we've been able to get far more accomplished than I thought we would at any point at this time. The numbers that I'm about to present to you are from the State Tax Commission Form L4029. This is the summer tax levy request for 2021 for Roscommon County. I'm going to share that screen with you now also. It's going to take me just a second. I'm sorry. It only allows me to pre-store one of those.
It's okay.
Okay, I should be ready now to do screen share. Okay, can you see that report?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, this is a far shorter presentation, as it is just a one-page report. Again, in front of you is the tax rate request for Roscommon County for 2021's tax levy. Generally, we talk about this in late April, beginning of May, and we get this out to our treasurer partners in the month of May, or late May, early June, so that they can get this to the tax bills in July. This is very much a statement of transparency. At your next meeting on April 28th, you will certify the rates from the equalization report for both assessed and taxable value. That taxable value number was transferred to the top of the screen in that taxable value box at $1,436,712,445. It is that number that our millage rates are applied against for the county. Let's see, I've got a little bit of legalese for you here. The following tax rates have been authorized for levy on the 2021 tax roll as compiled under the provisions of MCL 211.24E, which is truth in taxation, MCL 211.34, which is truth in county equalization and truth in assessing, MCL 211.34D, which is the Headley Amendment, MCL 211.36 and 37, which are apportionment, which you'll see along these columns numbered 1 through 12 in the middle of the page. Our general fund was elected and put in place in November of 1978 at a 4.6 mill rate. By 2020, that mill rate had eroded under that Headley Amendment, MCL 211.34D, to a 3.5804. So that is your general fund number that we applied the taxation against last year. This year, due to that staggering increase far above inflation, the Headley Amendment went into effect and further drew down the the millage rate by applying a factor of 0.9914. Our 2021 millage rate is deemed to be 3.5496. Based on that, the maximum that you'd be authorized to levy in column number 9 would be 3.5496. It's my recommendation in column number 10 that the commissioners approve a full levy of all that they're authorized at the 3.5496 for the summer 2021 tax bills. There's a certification. As representatives of Roscommon County, we certify that the requested tax rates have been reduced if necessary to comply with State Constitution Article 9, Section 31, and that the requested levy rates have also been reduced if necessary to comply with MCL 211.24E and MCL 211.34. Under Truth in Taxation, Michigan Compiled Law 211.34E, this governing body may decide to levy a rate which does not exceed that maximum amount to levy in column number 10. I'm sorry, in column number 9. The requirements of MCL 211.24E must be met prior to any levy. With that said, I respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners at your next meeting adopt the equalization report that we talked about earlier today, and also this tax rate request. I'm asking that you authorize the levy to allow ad valorem tax rate for Roscommon County for the year 2021 be applied against the general fund millage rate of 3.5496 for the summer tax roll. And that you also authorize Chairman Robert Snyder and County Clerk Michelle Stevenson to sign this document, the 4029 tax rate request for all ad valorem properties within Roscommon County for 2021. And that is the end of my report. And if you have any questions, I could help you with those.
Okay. Any commissioners have any questions for Jamie?
Jamie, as usual, this is Mark. Appreciate your superb report and an excellent team. Again, we appreciate the recommendations that you've given to the board. Thank you.
My only comment is Jamie, I think this is the second year in a row that the Headley is kicked in, correct?
Yes, sir. And as I indicated in the equalization report, I believe we're looking at 2, possibly 3 more years of seeing that. It is a suggestion, not a request, that you as a County Board of Commissioners potentially look at going back to the voters and looking for a millage roll up to receive that full 4.6%. Because as you know, each year we have to do more work with less revenue, less ability to get these projects done that need to be done based on the revenue that we're generating. Each year, because of that Headley amendment, that we are in an incline, we operate with less dollars than we had the prior year. However, as we talked about with inflation, those inflation values continue to climb, ultimately meaning we are doing more work with less dollars, and that creates we've gotten ourselves to the point, well, as you know, in my office specifically, when I started just under 10 years ago, we had 5 employees. We are now down to 2 and about to be at, or I'm sorry, now down to 3 and about to be at 2. So we've done a lot of things in a lot of ways creatively to try to get to reduce costs. I think we're at the point of pretty much bare bones on this, though.
Right. I agree. So, okay, we're looking to bring this forward at the April 28th meeting. We'll have the two resolutions on board for the 28th. That'll work out for you?
Yes, that'd be fantastic. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. All right. It is 9:50. Kind of perfect timing. If any other commissioner doesn't have anything, we will adjourn until 10 o'clock. See you in 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Commissioners, regular meeting April 14th, 10 o'clock via Zoom. Mr. Milburn, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right. Item number 3, roll call board members, please, Michelle.
Russo.
Present, and I'm working out of my home office at 13285 West Shore Drive, Holton Lake.
Melvin.
I'm at my residence, 9460 Oakwood Drive, Roscommon, Michigan.
Schneider.
I'm present. I'm at my residence at 10172 Old Railroad, St. Helens, Michigan.
Muckenthaler.
President, and I'm here at the Roscommon County office.
Milburn.
I'm here at Commissioner Russo's office, eating Bob's candy, and here at the courthouse.
Okay. Approval of the agenda, please. Item 4.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Go ahead, Tim.
Motion is made by Mr. Milburn, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to approve the agenda, which is quite large, John. Okay. Any comments from any commissioner in regards to the agenda? Okay, roll call or approval, please. Michelle.
Melvin.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Milburn.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Item number 5. Excuse me. Approval of the minutes for the meetings, regular meeting March 10th, 2021 and March 24th, 2021, and a special meeting of March 31st, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Melvin, seconded by Commissioner Russo. Any further discussion by any commissioners at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Milburn.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Item number 6, Class A claims and accounts, please.
Move to approve Class A bills in the amount of $753,006.16.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler. Okay, Class A is an amount of $753,006.16. Any further comments from any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn.
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, claims and accounts.
Oh, no, I can't turn the page. Okay. Move to approve claims and accounts in the amount of $72,817.45.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Melvin, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to okay claims and accounts for $72,817.45. Any further comments from any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Russo.
Yes.
Milburn.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Item number 7. Any public comment at this time?
Oops.
Emil
Yes.
Bellenbaum here, sir.
Okay, hold on a second. How many people want comment here?
Emil Bellenbaum.
Okay, we got Lori Sauer and Emil. Okay, Emil, go ahead first. Okay, Lori, we'll get to you second. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would just like to thank all the people here at the county. I thought this was going to be a hybrid meeting where we could attend virtually or in person. And they helped set me up here at the county office to be able to observe the meeting. I appreciate that. And Michelle's office was very gracious and very helpful in that. Thank you. I'd just like to say that it has not been resolved that the dispute between the COA and the funds from the state of Michigan is still ongoing, and it looks like the lawyers are going to make a lot of money off of this. So with that, I'll let Lori have her say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emil. Lori, you're up next.
Chairman Schneider and members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I am Lori Sauer. I am the director of Region 9 Area Agency on Aging, which is a division of NEMSCA. Our agency provides funding to a 12 county region of Northeast Michigan to provide services that support older adults in maintaining their independence and provides needed services for them to be able to do that. Roscommon is one of the counties that we are currently under contract with, and that contract is currently held with the Roscommon County Commission on Aging. As you're probably aware, we are in a bit of a tough situation right now with the Commission on Aging regarding a compliance issue that has resulted from a change in policy from our state funder, which is the Michigan Aging and Adult Services Agency. This has been an ongoing issue since last summer, and we are now in a position of the very real possibility of discontinuing that agreement with the COA and granting and being able to grant those funds to them by the end of this month if compliance is not achieved. To receive funding for those services, a 10% match must be met by the organization. Roscommon COA has a total grant award for $391,866 to provide services such as homemaking, personal care, respite, nutrition services, and adult day services. They have met a match requirement of $35,217 so far this fiscal year. But if the contract is discontinued at the end of the month, that will leave roughly $16,345 left to meet the match requirement from ASA funded services to continue in the county. I'm here today to ask if the board would consider providing Region 9 AAA with that match of $16,345 out of its senior millage or other funding that might be available so that we may continue to support those services in your communities.
Any commissioners have any comments at this time? Lori, you're based out of Alpena, correct?
Correct. But we have an office in West Branch and a couple other places throughout the region.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just for transparency and for public acknowledgement, the next COA meeting is going to be next Wednesday at the COA at 1 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I appreciate Ms. Sauer's comments today.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm assuming, Mark, you're being our representative for the COA that this $16,000 we're going to be addressed by next Wednesday?
I have no doubt Ms. Sauer will probably put that in writing and send it to the COA for the chairman of the COA to review. Could I expect that, Ms. Sauer?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so Lori, you're here informing us of basically from your entity what's going on, okay? Because I know this has been an ongoing thing, so.
Correct.
Hopefully they can come to some kind of a resolution here. So
hopefully, yes.
Right. Okay. Any other commissioners have anything? Okay, that's public comment. Sorry. Okay, any other public comment at this time? Okay, hearing none. On to number 8, Administrator Controller Report. Jody Valentino.
Well, good morning, everyone. Try to give you a quick rundown of what the last 2.5, 3 weeks have looked like. There is no change in any of our current lawsuits, no movement yet. So we're just the same waiting pattern we've been in for the last year. We were notified today by our business officer representative from the POAM for the sheriffs that there are going to be requesting for arbitration on the current hearing. So as soon as I have more information on that, I will pass that on to our labor attorney and let you know. As you are aware, we have been dealing with a structural repair to the Houghton Lake level control structure. In the temporary fix, we have learned that in order to proceed with any additional repairs, we will need to, per Eagle, pull another permit, which in essence means we have to get engineers involved. I think this will end up being a significant project for us this year. I am working with Nick Johnson, who is our new director, who technically hasn't started yet, but is coming in on Fridays to train. We are working right now on a bid for engineering services for that project in and of itself. So you're looking at a minimum of 30 days before we would get the bids to be able to even open them. As it stands right now, the temporary fixes are working. I think Commissioner Russo would agree with me, and are doing what they are supposed to do and allowing the lake to begin to draw up on water towards summer level. So we could actually go like this all summer, which is good because we probably will have to, knowing the length of the project and the processes that will take place once we get an engineer involved. We will be starting our audit the first week of May this year. It is a little bit earlier than he has been here in the past, probably about 3 weeks. So we're kind of doing crunch time in the office here. We're finalizing I finalized all of the accruals that need to be done for payroll and for the accounts payable. That accrues through March 31st is how long I go out to look at that. So those happen after the final billing runs on the end of March. And now I'm in that stage where I am going through and literally looking at every single line item in our totality of all of our funds, errors, omissions, transfers, grant reimbursements that need to be done, haven't been done, and just general data entry errors that need to be corrected before he comes. With that being said, I had promised you that after the accruals, I would have some figures for you because we knew that juvenile detention had been closed for about 4.5 months during the pandemic and was unable to operate. So they are going to be in need of a $170,000 transfer from the general fund to balance their budget this year due to that closure. So I will be coming to you at the next meeting with that. I do believe we actually have a finance meeting. Michelle, I don't know if, does that sound right to you? Okay, at the next meeting as well. So I can give all that further detail. However, I will need to have a motion at that meeting to approve that transfer because it is so significant in the dollar amounts. Additionally, one of the things that I will reach out to you is we know that we are getting some funding or anticipating getting funding for the American Rescue Plan. The general consensus is constantly, everybody has an idea about what the Board of Commissioners should expend those funds on. I have shared a few articles with you from the Department of Treasury, from Michigan Association of Counties, Michigan Township Association, and the National Association of Counties. And we'll continue to caution you we will put that money into a trust and agency account until such time that we have more knowledge of specific uses that we can do. The last thing we want to get into is taking on a project or coming up with an idea for expenditures and then finding out that the $500,000 we spent on something needs to actually be repaid, because these grants through COVID have been notorious for, here's the money, go spend it. Oh, wait, not on that. And it's, you know, this is too significant of amount of money to do that with. What I will caution you as well and encourage you is, you have listened to our Director of Equalization, Jamie Hauserman's report. We are looking at a minimal change by the time you add in the increase in assessed taxable values and then do a millage rollback. You are only putting in about $75,000 more in taxes into our general fund. On a $10 million budget, that is less than 1% of what your expenditures are. So that's not a huge thing. So when we look at where this American Rescue funding money will go, those things that will make an impact in some specific areas, i.e. economic development and growth of population, that will help offset the decrease in revenues that we will probably see in the next 2 to 3 years, would be where my strong encouragement would go in that. The only way to grow revenues is to grow our population and our businesses. So I'm hoping that, you know, we can find a way to make those things work. We are in the middle of the planning for the Michigan Indigent Defense Council 2022. The 5th standard that they have set in place will go into effect this year. And essentially that is the division of assignment of counsel, Indigent Defense Counsel, to the independent attorney that oversees the program, which in our case is Troy Daniels, to separate that portion from the courts. We do pretty well with that right now. They have chosen a rotation, and our district court is responsible. Basically, they say this is the next attorney up and that person's appointed. So there's not a lot that we should have to change for that, but we will have that plan in by the 27th. I'm working with Troy right now. We have had our GIS manager position that has been training. She has spent some significant time with Phil in IT, and then has spent about the last month with Trish learning the addressing, splits, combinations, those portions of that position in equalization that she will be taking over. As you know, Trish will be retiring here shortly. So she's trying to give as much knowledge as possible in a short amount of time. Finally, the thing that I wanted to update you on is we have been working on the agreement with the airport for the land swap. We did have a contract, first draft and now a second draft that I have sent to our civil attorney consult for review, and have passed that on to the attorney for the neighbor in question for the land swap. I have not heard back yet. But I will reach out and have Mr. Jarosh follow up on that as well from the airport. Quick reminder, Monday, April 19th, 10 a.m., Trestle Park. They were looking for a picture for those who are in support of the COVID resolution that was passed by this board a few months ago. So that's it.
Okay. Any commissioners have any questions for Jody's report? I do have one question in regards to the $170,000 for the our youth direct, our second chance cat. I mean, what's it called over there now? I can't remember.
Juvenile detention.
Okay, juvenile detention. Would any of that money qualify from that CARES Act?
My general knowledge is that we can appropriate money from that act to a specific fund that has been affected in lost revenues. We just don't have the money yet to do it. So
right, I know we haven't got the money yet. I just wondered if that would qualify, because that would be COVID related. So. Yes, sir, it should. All right, okay, it's good to know. Anybody else have anything, Jody?
Mr. Chair, we're hoping to get that, as Jody mentioned, we're hoping to have the airport contract wrapped up, and I believe this will hopefully benefit the airport and the citizens of our county. I'd also like to reiterate what Jody mentioned as far as the letter from Rod Taylor, correspondence H, that, we obviously, this could be one of the biggest decisions that the county board makes in many years. It's very important, as he mentions, go slow, planning, long-term consideration, transparency, and big thing is capital investments. Obviously, this is going to be, again, one of the bigger things that we work on for many years. Thank you.
Right. It's going to be, this is going to be, as far as commissioners, gentlemen, probably going to be the biggest decisions you're ever going to make in your careers. It would hopefully to be my goal is that whatever we're able to spend the money on, we can spend it all and we can spend it correctly. David.
Mark, when you speak, can you remove your mask? You're muffled. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just got done.
Right. Okay, Ken.
Just a comment on the GIS mapping position that Jody was talking about. I just wanted to let the rest of the commissioners know I was recently at the Michigan Works meeting where we have several counties from our area. They are all looking for a GIS person and can't find one. So evidently we were fortunate in being able to get one.
Okay, well, good, because we got a good one as far as I'm concerned. So, all right. On to correspondence. Bear with me, people. This is pretty thick stuff here. All right. Item A, B, and C is all in regards to the benchmark dredging activity that's going on in Nestor Township. And that's for the DEQ. And we're just being notified on that. Item D is the Michigan Volunteer Stream Monitoring Program, become a community scientist. Item E is a resolution number 6 and 7 from Sheboygan County in regards to supporting a collective effort by Michigan counties in opposing current and future orders unilaterally issued by Governor Whitmer and state agencies in response to COVID-19. Item F is also a resolution 21-035, Honorable Board of Commissioners, Hillsdale County, gathering to recognizing heroic efforts of the first responders and frontline workers. Item G is a copy of the postcard that's going to be going out in regards to gypsy moth suppression program that's been going on, and it'll be happening until it's coming up. That'll probably happen here by the end of May, 1st of June. So, okay. Item H is the Department of Treasury from Rod Taylor. Commissioner Milburn referred to that in regards to going slow as far as this rescue plan money and making sure we've got planning and long-term considerations and transparency. So we just need to keep up with all the information that's coming and make some decisions. And I happen to agree with Jody's statement about putting that money into a trust and agency account until we know exactly what we can do with it. Item I is MSU report on their partners. Item J is from the DEQ, and that's in regards to the project that's going on at the Holton Lake Dam now. Item K is from Wendy Dazlowski, civil liberties request from Sheboygan County. Item L is a resolution from Berrien County in regards to COVID relief funds from the state of Michigan. Item M is consumers peak summer peak rate. Item N is Genesee County resolution to supporting the passage of legalization legislation to adopt a 4-year terms for county commissioners. That's been ongoing. I know Mac is on that one big time. So and item O at the end is KCC Roscommon County data info. Apparently, I guess this came from Roy Spangler in regards to interesting information about Roscommon County. And I believe that's the end of it, right? Okay, any commissioners have any questions in regards to correspondence at this time, please? Thanks for bearing with me getting through that, okay? All right. Item 10, monthly department reports. We've got the animal control, Roscommon County EDC Director report from Vance, thank you. Office of the Sheriff from the Sheriff's Department and Central Dispatch. So, anybody have any questions in regards to monthly department reports? Okay, hearing or seeing none. Item number 11, do we have any visitors that'd like to be recognized at this time? Okay, hearing or seeing none, thank you. Item 12, any unfinished or new business from any commissioner at this time? Okay. Item 13, motions and resolutions. Michelle, you're up, please. Motion number 1.
Move to adopt and administer the MERS defined contribution DC plan, see attached, effective April 14, 2021, defining specific leave types to be allowed for service credit. Adoption of amendments are not a change in past application, simply a requirement of MERS to define those leaves.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Melvin, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to adopt the administer the MERS defined contributions DC plan, effective April 14th, 2021. Any further discussion from any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Russo.
Yes.
Milburn.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Motion number 2, please, Michelle.
Motion to authorize Chairman Robert E. Schneider to sign on behalf of the Board of Commissioners the solid management plan packet to be submitted to Eagle for approval.
So moved.
Good motion. I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the Board of Commissioners a solid waste management plan packet. Any further discussion from any commissioner at this time? I just wanted to thank Commissioner Muckenthaler. You're right. It took 2.5 years to get this far, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Technically, it's not done yet, but we're getting really close.
Oh, and we got it this far because thanks to Vicky. She's been leading us by the hand through this thing the whole way.
Yep. And then all the townships got on board too, so that's great. Okay. Any other further comments? Hearing none. Roll call.
Melvin.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Milburn.
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Okay, item number 14 under committee reports. Who wants to go first? Get your hand up. Tim, go ahead.
Last Wednesday, I had Denton Township board meeting and claims and accounts. And after today, I've got a solid waste meeting and a recycling committee.
Okay. All right. Mr. Commissioner Russo.
Not much. Claims and accounts in Houghton Lake's at summer pool right now, and we need more rain.
Correct.
David, you did the agenda.
Oh, yes, I also did the agenda. Thank you, Ken.
Okay. Ken or Mark, jump in.
Okay, I'm ready. I did the agenda on the 8th, and then I also had the Veterans Affairs Committee meeting. We transported 8 veterans to medical appointments. We assisted financially for the families on 8 veteran burials. I think it was Tom and Anita Shepard and Heath Nemeth went over to a Rotary meeting in Houghton Lake to receive a $750 grant from the Houghton Lake Rotary. And at that meeting, they had a 50-50 drawing, and Tom's wife, Anita, won the 50-50 and donated the $35 to the veterans. That was nice of her. We assisted one veteran with food, one veteran with propane, and we assisted a veteran business restaurant purchasing 2 outdoor tents to maintain the viability of their business in these COVID situations. Then, at Michigan Works, the Roscommon County unemployment rate is right around 20%. There was discussion by all commissioners and it was brought up again about, and I have seen now 2 buses at shift change at Lear Company transporting workers back down to Saginaw. They're still transporting people to Lear to work every day. And other commissioners that have businesses are not able to find employees to fill positions. And this is all due to the requirement to register for work and seek work being waived in the COVID situation. So they're looking to try and change that somehow, but in the meantime, there seems to be a lack of people willing to work right now. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Milburn.
District health, even though we had some technological issues, economic development, and a big shout out to Eric and his team for the successful Easter egg drop. I attended that, and again, as usual, it was a wonderful event and enjoyed by not only the children, but obviously the parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles, nieces and friends. Again, Eric, thank you so much. Again, successful Easter egg drop.
Okay. I had district health department last month. And then actually the last 2 weeks, I've been pretty much out of commission here, gentlemen. So I am getting better. So hopefully things are improving. So I have got a call into that Ed Lipinski, Ken. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. I'm not exactly sure what the situation is with that gauge at Lake St. Helen, but I'm trying to get some information so I know, okay? All right, item number 15. Any other further public comment from anybody at this time? Vance, 911.
Yep, good morning. A couple of things. First, I just wanted to say kudos to the Roscommon County dispatchers. It is Emergency Telecommunicator Week, and it's their week to be recognized for the job they do. It's been very tough. Last couple of months, as you've seen in our reports, has been quite challenging. And as Ken pointed out, it's been difficult to find people that are willing to come and do the work. through some creative recruiting. We do have some seasoned dispatchers coming onto the team, and before it's all said and done, we'll have hired actually 8 new people, only 2 of which come in totally green, and we'll be able to get them going. So we're in a much better position. Team's doing great. So I appreciate the support from everyone, including some 911 friends I called upon to give us a hand, and they stepped up. So we're doing good.
Great, great.
Yeah, thank
Right.
you. I have a comment regarding the presentation earlier about the sewer for Garish and Lyon Township. And I'd like to encourage the commissioners to be as supportive as possible of that project. I know you could become familiar by taking some time to look at the feasibility studies that are on the websites for the 2 townships, if that's helpful. But studies for years about lake quality have shown that there's been a degradation in Higgins Lake, and it's the most likely cause is nutrient load into the lake, and the sewer would arrest that. So I think it's a critically important project. I'd love to have the commissioners' support. I think it would be helpful to the people that are making that happen. And you know, the lake is a huge attraction to Roscommon County. And one of the comments that Jody made earlier was that in order to grow our revenue, the best way to do that is to grow our population and our businesses. And I think that a healthy Higgins Lake would probably go a long way in doing that. So I'd just like to encourage everyone to get as familiar as possible and to be supportive if you would.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment out there at this time, please?
Yeah,
Yes,
this is Dave Udy. I just wanted to mention that earlier this morning, a comment was made that sometimes the commissioners get questions about the sewer, the study that we're trying to conduct here. The first thing I would recommend is that if I get a call as a township supervisor about something that the county deals with, my first advice is to call the county, is to call the county commissioner who's in charge of that project. If you guys receive a call with questions about the sewer, ask them to please call myself, call Lisa Talgetsky, call Doug Schnell at the townships. So if we don't know the answer to that, we certainly can get a hold of the engineering team that can address that question and get it back to them. My next comment is again about the feasibility study that's been in the public domain for over 2 years. So obviously not everybody goes to the township websites to scour to get answers about the sewer, but the information has been out there. And lastly, I want to answer questions about the economics of it. What is it going to cost me per month? What are my assessments going to be? I want to remind the commissioners that it's only been in the last 2 months that we even knew that we could get to this point. And that means that the financial advisors that do these calculations, they didn't even start to do those calculations until we were pretty sure that we could get to this point. So all of this time, we've just been dealing with getting the 2 townships together, getting the articles of incorporation together so that each township knew that they would be protected within their own entity. This has been a very long process, even just to get to this point. And so everybody wants to know, what's it going to cost me? I can tell you that within the next 2 weeks, a lot of those numbers will become available, and those numbers will be posted in the Houghton Lake Resorter by statute law. We will have to do that. So as the economics become more available, of course, we're going to get them out in the public. And I understand the frustration of people that have questions about the makeup of the sewer. What's it going to cost? They're the same questions that I have. And so I've been really patient working with our friends over in Lyon Township, going on over 3 years now, just to get to this point. And so, Bob, I want to make, I've offered to get the engineering team into one of your meetings to make an official presentation. I want to do that because the more information, the more knowledge we can get out to the public, the better it is for everybody.
Okay, that'd be good, Dave. All right, thank you. Michelle?
Okay, thank you. I have several things, so bear with me, please. First, I would just like to remind the commissioners that when you're doing your report, if you announce what your upcoming meetings are, I do not write those down. I only write what you have done. So if you tell me today what you're doing after this meeting, you need to tell us again in your report at your next meeting, because otherwise it's not going to get reported in the minute. You're not the only one that does it, so don't worry. There's a lot, it happens quite frequently. So there's just that. Another thing that's been bothering me several weeks now is the COA updates. I appreciate Mr. Bellenbaum giving us updates, because otherwise, you know, unless we disorder, and I don't always have time to do that, I'm unaware. And so I'm just kind of questioning why we're not getting those updates from our commissioners that are assigned to that committee. The state of emergency, the length of the state of emergency, I appreciate that you did that. I do question that you only did it for a month. So I'm just kind of curious if you're planning to extend that, considering the current situation. I wanted to make you aware that we are going to have an August election. It will be a small one at this point. The filing deadline for any language is May 11th. So I will know more for sure after that date. And then this is kind of to Mr. Udi, but also to the Lyon Township. That resolution regarding the sanitary sewer project that they're asking the Board of Commissioners to adopt, I would encourage the Board of Commissioners to request that they have a certified copy of the resolution passed by the Garrish Township Board and the Lyon Township Board before you take action on adopting one yourself. That is all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Ken, you got your hand up?
Well, I just a little bit of clarification for the rest of the commissioners about the gauge at the St. Helen, at Lake St. Helen, that's maintained by the USGS. I got a call yesterday from Ed Lipinski. He was at St. Helen with another person working on the gauge, and there might have been some readings that were not quite looking correct for a little bit as they were working on that and doing maintenance. And then when they were there, they found out that the gauge is located in a marina, and the marina is going to do within the next 20 days or for 20 days or something. I don't know. I can't remember now, but it's going to disrupt that gauge and its reporting. And this is kind of a critical time. And they wanted to get with you, Bob, to find out if they need to temporarily relocate the gauge or just put a staff gauge in. But irregardless, David knows just like I do that at this time of year with the springtime rains, it's critical to know what's going on with the lake. So I think we should have authorized Bob to do whatever he thinks is necessary to maintain his level reporting.
I'm doing that, and I did have some different readings this morning on Lake St. Helen. So, but I have a call into Ed, and he hasn't got back to me yet. As far as that lake level gauge, it's next door to the marina. It's not anywhere near the marina, I didn't think. But I need to talk with Ed if he was actually out there last week, or yesterday. So, all right. Well, back under committee reports to amend my report, Michelle. Could you also add that we had economic development, and I believe Mr. Milburn was at that one also. So, all right. Any other public comment at this time, please? Okay, hearing or seeing none. Item number 16, adjournment, please.
So moved, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Milburn, seconded by Commissioner Russo to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. All right, everybody, thank you. See you next meeting on the 28th.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.